From San Diego, California, this is the One Extraordinary Marriage Show, where being busy is overdone, romancing is fun, and scheduling sex is taking the guesswork out of wondering when you're going to get some. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. From coast to coast and around the world, thank you for joining us. It's time to talk sex, love, and commitment. Give us a call on the HUG hotline at 858-876-5663. That's 858-876-5663. In today's show, we talk about how the two of you can handle the storms in your marriage while becoming united like never before.
And as we start the show, I want you to think about this quote attributed to Anonymous. It says, "Relax. Don't be so hard on yourself. You are living and learning. Forgive yourself and grow from the experience." And a lot of that is going to tie into how you as a couple handle the storms in life. And as we get there, we're going to be digging into a lot of these different concepts. But those of you that are brand new to the One Extraordinary Marriage Show, welcome.
Yes.
We are so excited to have you as a brand new listener. And those of you that have been around for a while, you know we love having you tune in each and every week. For those of you that are brand new, the HUG is an opportunity for you to hear from someone else just like you who is experiencing hope and transformation in their marriage. Mm-hmm. And this week's HUG is sponsored by Chatbooks, and you can check them out at chatbooks.com/podcast. Now, we love our Chatbooks.
We have a stack of them right here by our equipment and where we're recording.
That's how much I love them. And what I love about it is that Chatbooks automatically creates a book off of your Instagram feed, your Facebook feed, or even your camera roll. And it's quick and easy, right? The books are all 60 pages, so you're not guessing, okay, how long is this book going to be, or how do I do this? Because Chatbooks does it for you. 60 images gets loaded. You decide that you want it. And here's the thing. It's so simple and classic. There's one picture on each page. You get to decide if you want to include the location, the date, the caption. But here's what I love about it. Mm-hmm. I know that some of you right now are sitting on all of those vacation pictures on your phone, and you're like, great, I took 300 pictures on vacation. Well, what am I going to do?
Right.
Or you have like that special event where Tony was even suggesting, he's like, we have all our date night selfies. Why don't we have a book of our date night selfies? See, here's the thing. These books, they're only $8 each. Right. And that's the beauty of this. This is like cheaper than the two of you like going out on a date. You can actually get your book and have that memory to look at. So what I love is that they have a love it or get your money back. Right. So you've got a great deal on the book. Love it or get your money back.
You're going to love these books. Honestly, go grab all those pictures off your phone from date night, from vacation. Just the two of you. Elisa and I are going to do that. And then get them into one of these books.
So go to chatbooks.com/podcast to download the Chatbooks app and get your first series book free with the promo code OEM. Now, this week's HUG comes from an email that we recently received, and the writer says, I am just now listening to your podcast about being sensual, which was episode 384. At the first of that podcast, Tony states that he appreciates the condolences. I'm apparently behind the curve. I try to keep up with you guys, but the last few weeks have been a struggle. I'm so sorry for your loss, whatever it is. Anticipating it's probably the loss of a parent. I remember one of your parents was not doing so well. So hugs from Nebraska. Please do all you can to take good care of yourselves during this difficult time. That is so much easier said than done. Even lighting a candle, eating a piece of good chocolate if that's what speaks to you, and of course, having comfort sex. Mm-hmm. All of those things, small things add up. And remember how loved you are through the OEM family. I'm a hospice nurse, and I'm here if you need to cry and throw pillows. Love, love, love you guys.
Yeah.
And, the fact of the matter is that Tony and I we've been through a lot the last 90 days, and we're not done yet.
No.
Right? And bits and pieces have come out over the shows over the last 3 months, but we sat down this past week and really just kind of looked like, where have we been?
Right.
Right. And what's going on with the two of us? And, Tony sold his other business.
Right. For those of you who didn't know, I had a service business that I've run for many years here in San Diego. Went through the process of finding somebody who's interested, having many, many meetings, laying out the whole thing, what was included, how it would look, signing agreements and everything.
And sold the business.
Yep.
But then took it back when the new owner decided that this wasn't the right fit for him. that all happened.
And I took it back less than 2 months after he had purchased it. So there was, it was in a tight time frame where I was already moving away from it, and yet I still had some, I was still helping out a bit in there.
More in a consulting role. And just so you guys know, the reason that Tony was selling that business was so that he would have more time and be singularly focused with me at one. Right. So that was the whole plan for why to sell that business. And then as we shared in episode 383, Tony's dad died at the beginning of July.
About a week or so after I took back the business and was in a bit of a frenzy trying to get everything back in order, that the best that I could, since I'd been away from it for about 2 months.
So stress upon stress, right? Selling a business is stressful. Making the decision to take a business back is stressful. Losing a parent is stressful. And, one of the last things that Tony's dad said to him was, I want you to take care of your mom. Mm-hmm. So Tony has now stepped into this role of, how do we take care of mom? What do we do? What are her needs? What are all of the logistics?
Right.
And that's not just a, we do it and we're done type of thing. That's going to be an ongoing, right? So now we've got this, our responsibilities towards mom have changed.
Correct.
And then, because, we just keep, it's that whole when it rains, it pours type of thing. Then where we're living in our rental, at the same time that dad was getting really, really sick, our homeowner was entering hospice herself. And then she died.
Right.
And then we thought we had a lease extension until her estate realized that they had to sell the property.
Or wanted to sell.
We don't know. We got the 60-day notice.
Right.
So businesses sold and repurchased, death of a parent, 60-day notice. By the way, you have to move. And this is all happening. By the time it's all said and done, it'll probably be about a 5-month window.
Mm-hmm. Of our year. And if we go back to the beginning of the year, our word for the one family was next level.
Right.
We're all going to go to the next level in our marriages, in our life. And when you have 5 months of your year consumed by things that honestly you never thought was going to even come around this year,
or wasn't going to go in the direction that it went.
Right. You start to look, and I start to look at, okay, well, what does my next level look like?
Well, because I forgot to mention, we also have our children starting new phases of life in terms of one's going to high school. Those of you that have high schoolers, you know that we're on the cusp of something big here. And our youngest is starting middle school. So we phased out of the elementary school, and now we're in this preteen, teen world.
Right.
So we feel all of you, but this is all going on, right? And I will tell you that, 10, 11 years ago, when Tony and I would face crisis, oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Two different people showed up in our marriage, right? Because we didn't do stress as a couple. I can't even say we didn't do it well. We just didn't do it.
No. Yeah.
Right. The communication would fall apart. The disconnect would happen. The fights would happen. And I'm telling you all this because here's the thing. We know you're going to have storms, right? You were never promised, on the day that you said, I do, you did not a single one of you got the, free pass, smooth sailing, happily ever after for the next 50 years.
Right. And the closest I can connect what we've gone through over these last 90 days and what we dealt with in the past is when we lost our second child, Andrew. Mm-hmm. That loss, that trauma that we both incurred and faced after the loss of Andrew, and where we are today is completely different because losing a parent, selling a business, buying it, having to buy it back, and all these are traumatic events, and they can take you out. And those are the two in my life that I can think of right now where such a different place. The loss of Andrew took us off the rails for a good year and a half.
At least.
Where we are today, because of what we've done, allowed us to stay on those rails. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe the train slowed down a lot. Maybe it was only at a crawl's pace for days or weeks at a time because we had to really go, okay, we can't do everything that we thought we could possibly do, but definitely a different place we've been.
Because when you're facing those storms, guys, all those emotions come up. right? And it's the feelings of hurt. It's the feelings of disappointment, of frustration, of fear. And simply, you just get exhausted.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of times, I mean, case in point, yesterday I came home and I took a 3-hour nap. Why? Because my body just finally said, you know what, you need to sleep. And thankfully, nobody woke mama up. But it was a good thing. But, you go through all of these emotions and you're going to experience it. When you're having those storms, like, please don't stuff your emotions. I actually had one coaching client say to me the other day, they're like, so you don't want me to express my emotions? I'm like, oh, heck no. We just have to be constructive in how you express them because you both are processing things differently. I mean, we've shared on a previous podcast when we knew things were getting really rough with Dad that Tony came to me and he's like, look, like, there's all this stuff going on with business and with Dad and whatnot. Like, I'm going to need more sex. It's that whole comfort sex thing that the hospice nurse shared in her hug. Right. And I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. And from my standpoint, guys, especially, we're taught, don't show your emotions. It's not what a man does. And I'll tell you, there are many a times where I would be with my mom after Dad's passing and just driving home, even with the family, and something would trigger me and it would just be sobbing tears. Just allow yourself to sob, allow yourself to release that emotion. The only way I can explain it is there is definitely, for me personally, there's a release that just allows me to go afterwards, just take a deep breath and focus again. Where had I not, which I've done in the past, my vision is blurry and it continues to be blurry because I'm not allowing those emotions to come to surface.
Well, and that's where for a lot of people, when those emotions do get stuffed, when you're going through all of these storms, that's where they start to really manifest themselves in anger. Right. I mean, that was our whole scenario when Andrew died.
Correct.
Because I was in like pure chaos. My world was completely upside down. Tony's was too, but I was singularly focused in that point in time on me. Like, I'm just going to own that. And so Tony was in this protector mode way back when, and there really wasn't a place for him to express his emotions. So he just got angry, very, very angry. Right. And that's why, as we looked at this period of time, and on all honesty, guys, in the last, 3-4 months, we've had one major fight. And that was on vacation. So, like, those of you that have been listening for a while are kind of probably giggling right now going, of course, Tony and Lisa had a fight on vacation. They usually do. But the reason I share that with you is because we went from fighting mode to recovery in about 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, it was quick.
It was quick. And I bring that up not to say, oh my gosh, look at Tony and Lisa, but to say, here's what happens when you start building your marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Because that couple, that Tony and Lisa couple, 10 years ago now, I guess that would be, because we're coming up on year 21. Yeah. So 10 years ago, that couple that wasn't focusing on their marriage, that couple that didn't know how to communicate, that couple that was, more focused on self than on other, that couple did not survive storms well. I will tell you that when Andrew died and we're in that chaos place, did I think about divorce? You better believe it. Because I was hurting so bad and we didn't know how to bridge that gap, that chasm that was between us. We were disconnected. I perfected my silent treatment.
Yes, she did.
And Tony perfected the volcanic anger in that season.
I did.
We fought over things that, like, I look back now and I just remember the energy around the fights, but I couldn't tell you what we fought about. And I share that with all of you because we get it. Right? We know that you're going to go through this. And one of the other things I want to tell you that hasn't disappeared, right? Like Tony was talking about, the train may have slowed down, but we haven't gotten completely derailed. The intimacy lifestyle. For those of you that don't know, it's episode 140, scheduling sex. But I share that because here we've had all of these things. Tony's been traveling to see his mom, and we've got kids going here, there, and everywhere. And it's, what business is he working today, and all these kinds of things, right? So like this constant guessing game.
It is.
It's sort of like you wake up and you shake the magic 8 ball and you're like, okay, where am I going today? And we haven't had the intimacy lifestyle drop off in this, 4-month period, when it would be really easy to say, on my part, you know what? I'm just exhausted. I don't want to have sex. Right? Or for Tony to be like, I'm just emotionally drained. I don't want to have sex. Right? It'd be super easy. And yet we're like, no. This is a commitment that we've made. And
it's so worth it. I mean, that was one of the things that we ended up discussing. I mean, Elisa brings it up that, hey, under that stress for myself, having sex, that close connection with her allows me to relax, release that stress, and know that she and I are on the same page. So when we were going through this, knowing that we were going to continue our intimacy lifestyle, it changed the atmosphere of our house. It just changed the atmosphere for each of us, and that was huge and has been huge.
The reality is that the storms are going to come, right? There are going to be times when you look at a season and you're like, oh my gosh, we're not just like dealing here with a little afternoon thunderstorm. We're like full on flooding, right? And here's the thing. You don't put on the life jacket when the floodwaters are over your head.
Right.
Right? You start putting on the life jacket in all those other times when the water is down below and you're like, that feels a little uncomfortable. My feet are wet, right? We want to equip you with the tools and strategies to be unified today when things might not be so bad, right? When you're not really in a storm, you're like, you know what, Tony and Lisa, I totally appreciate what you're talking about, but we're in a good place.
But here's the thing. So were we. We felt like we were in a great place coming into 2017. Everything was humming along. Things were moving where we wanted them to. And bam, the storm hit. One thing hit. The next thing hit. The next thing hit. So don't ever think that, oh, we're in a good place and it's always going to be this way, because things are going to come up. We pray that you guys are in a good place and you stay in that good place. Man, Elisa and I have had a run of being in a place of just, we're in the green pasture. Like it's good. And yet life still comes at us. And what we did when we were in the green pasture allowed us to face that storm together, united, in a way that didn't break us up in any way. Like Elisa said, it was one argument over this time that really didn't matter. I mean, it was really small. And at the end of the day, neither of us were going to allow that to break us.
Right.
Or our marriage. So, where you are now, if you're in an awesome spot, this is great, because this is where you continue to grow and strengthen each other, because when that time does come, you're going to be ready for it. You're going to be like, bring it on. It's okay, because you're not going to break us apart.
And I just want to say, because, I know that there are those of you that are listening today and you're like, Tony and Lisa, we're in a good spot. And I also know that there are those of you listening today that are saying, Tony and Lisa, it feels like the floodwaters are over our heads.
Yep.
And you still need to put on your life jacket, right? It's a little bit harder, but not impossible. So the strategies that we're going to give you, what we're going to equip you with today, are going to help you handle the storm as a couple. But before we do that, we want to remind you, go to chatbooks.com/podcast to download the Chatbooks app and get that first series book free with promo code OEM. One of the things about these books, especially like if you create one of the two of you, is that when you face those storms, it's a very tangible, physical reminder of who the two of you are and what the two of you mean to one another. That's why I love Chatbooks, because it's that tangible, like, this is us. Remember that show, This Is Us? You create your own This Is Us book. So go to chatbooks.com/podcast and use promo code OEM to get that first series book free. So as we're talking about the storms, I want to be real honest with you guys. As much as you'd like to live in a bubble where nothing bad ever happens, it's simply not realistic. So we've got to talk about how you stay unified in the storm. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to create a safe space to regularly express your feelings. Regularly. Not, like once in 2017 and then again maybe in 2019. Right? I'm talking about like on a regular basis, maybe even once or twice a week.
So
right?
This is your emotional intimacy.
Absolutely.
Right? This is what we talk about almost on every show. The ability to talk to each other, right? Openly, honestly, and transparently. If you haven't been able to do it, if you're not sure how you're going to do it, where that first step's going to come into, grab our book, Connect Like You Did When You First Met, 101 Proven Questions for Couples. That's a great place to start.
Well, we can even suggest coffee break.
A coffee break as well.
Because the coffee break is going to allow you to talk about what's happening and how you feel about it, and what that connection is like between the two of you. In that safe space, in order to have that safe space, you also have to create margin in your life, right? You can't say yes to everything. It's super easy, especially when the stressors start to come, to say, well, yeah, I'll do that and I'll take that on. And yeah, I think I can do one more thing. And the fact of the matter is that when people keep saying yes to everything and they are running, you never have the time to deal with your feelings, to deal with what's going on with you. I see it all the time in coaching clients when, we're talking about what's going on. They're like, I'm just so busy. I've got this. And I'm like, what are you running from? What's going to happen if you stop and stand still and actually process what's going on in your head? That's why you're running. But you've got to have that safe space, not just to discuss your feelings with your spouse, but also to get in touch with yourself, folks. If you don't know what's going on inside of you, you've heard me say this at least, a couple hundred times, your spouse does not have ESP. They can't figure out the chaos that's swirling inside your head. You have to be able to understand that.
Yeah.
Another aspect of this, especially in those regularly scheduled times for the two of you to talk, is that you have to come to one another in love. And you have to come with the expectation that you're speaking whatever you're sharing in love.
Yeah.
I recently did a Going Deeper Facebook Live interview with Jennifer Smith of Unveiled Wife and her husband, Aaron, who has Husband Revolution. And this couple has been through a lot, especially in the first 4 years of their marriage. They've now been married about 10 years. And, they shared that when they were at their lowest point and Jennifer came to Aaron and said, I need to talk to you, famous last words that just cause fear in the heart of every married couple everywhere, that he sat there and he listened. And, when he heard all of these things that were hurtful and just, what she was dealing with, in the interview, she looks at him and says, but you were so gracious. And so I look at him and I'm like, dude, you've been through a lot. Your first 4 years of marriage. How were you able to do this? And he's like, I knew that she wouldn't have been able to come to me and share these things if I didn't believe that she was coming in love. And so I was able to hear those things because I knew where her heart was. And I thought, how powerful is that? Because he understood she wasn't saying things to hurt him. She was saying things to him because she valued their marriage and she loved him. And that makes such a difference in how the two of you weather a storm. Are you coming at each other with words of hurt and anger and I'm trying to wound you? Or are you coming with words of, I love you and I want to make our marriage work and I need you as my partner to make that happen because I can't do it by myself?
And here's the thing. There's nothing better than a spouse who will come up beside you and be like, I'm here to hold you up. There's so many people in our lives, we get outside of our four walls that want to tear us down, that want to break us apart, that want to see us fail. And you know what? For myself personally, being able to walk in here and just go, okay, I can lay myself down in the sense of I can allow my emotions to be shown and seen. I can come to Elisa and let her know where I'm struggling. And more importantly, she was there. Right? It wasn't easy for her to hear the things that were going on, be it with my business, be it with what was happening with Dad. I mean, she was there the morning Dad passed. We were there together with my mom as my dad took his last breath. We experienced something together and were able to lean on each other during that time. And I will tell you, there's nothing that just as a husband makes me more proud than knowing that I have a wife who will, at my worst, is just there standing right beside me going, I love you, honey, and I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to put you down. I'm not going to degrade you. I'm not going to use hurtful words. Instead, I'm going to be here, and I know you're hurting, and I know I'm hurting. And it went both ways, too. I mean, there are times when I had to lift her up, too, as she went and saw Dad pass away as well. but there's something about that. And through us getting together, right, building our marriage, building that foundation, growing it, building the house together, you can weather these storms. You can handle it.
And that's the last piece there. You need to expect that you're going to stay united in your storms, right? Because it's so easy to get into when things are bad in your marriage, in your life, when you're facing things, it's so easy to kind of withdraw. Like I said, when Andrew died, I withdrew and I felt like it was me against the world, right? I didn't think that anybody was on my side. I felt like I was all by myself facing this like unbelievable grief, right? And what I didn't take into account was on the day that Tony and I said, I do, when we said we now become one as a couple, that meant that I had somebody, right? I didn't have to do this by myself. And, my coaching couples, any of you that have done coaching with me, you know that I refer to the two of you as a team, right? Like Tony and I are Team DiLorenzo. You might be Team Smith or Team Thomas or Team Jackson, right? But when all of a sudden you start adopting this mindset of, okay, wait, we're on the same team. This person was not put in my life to be my adversary. They were put in my life to be my partner, which means that they have skills and strengths that I don't have, especially when I'm in a place where I can't be strong on my own. Right? Did I anticipate when I married Tony almost 21 years ago that I was going to be with him on the morning that his dad died? No. Like, you don't really paint that one into the picture on the day you say I do.
I wasn't even there. Right?
But I was there. And it's an amazing, incredible moment that he and I have the opportunity to share and to talk through and to say, okay, that was really ridiculously hard and amazing and beautiful all at the same time, but we were there together. And I was there to hold his hand, the day of the funeral. And he's been there when, life has happened to us. And I'm like, I don't even know if I can handle this mothering thing, all these different things that we faced as a couple. When I get the phone call from the property manager saying, hey, guess what? I'm delivering your 60-day notice today. And I immediately call Tony and he just says, babe, we got this. Like, I'm not going to get upset about it. We're going to find another place to live. And it was just that calming, like, oh, we've got, he didn't say, I've got this. He said, we've got this. And so.
And let me just say this. When we moved into this place, when we found out our previous owner was selling his place, Elisa went crazy. And in 2 weeks, we had found a place, signed a lease,
and moved,
and packed up and moved. And so putting her at ease and at calm, knowing that we have 60 days helped out for my sanity and hopefully as for hers as well. So we didn't have to like run into a new place that quick.
Yeah. 60 days is a lot better than 14.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that. But, in that place of unity, plan on more walk and talks.
Yes.
Plan on more cuddle time. Plan on stepping away from some of your other obligations, like the stuff outside the marriage, so that you can focus on the two of you.
Yeah, you may have to cut off some commitments for a time. Here's the thing, and we've walked through this. People understand. People are so gracious and understanding. It truly floors me. And it floored me through this time how many people are like, Tony, don't sweat it. The business, trying to pick things back up and going through my dad's death, and guys that I've known, don't worry about it. Man, they would just come up, they'd give me a big old bear hug and we'll handle it. Don't sweat it. Take care of yourself. So if you have to drop some commitments for a little bit, it's okay.
The reality is that at the end of the day, on the day that you said I do, you changed how you were going to handle life. Right? No longer did you have to do it by yourself. And the reason why is that on the day that you said I do, you got to the point where you changed your designation, right? You went from I've got to handle this all by myself to where we are going to handle this as a couple. That's the way you were designed to do life. The two of you. So look at this season. Maybe it's a season where you're building. Right? You're like, we're in a good spot. We're just going to keep laying these foundations. We're going to take these strategies of expressing our feelings and coming to one another with love and creating the expectation that we're going to stay united. We're in that place where we're just going to keep working on these to be able to handle the storms. Maybe you're in the storm and you're looking at these and you're saying, this is what we're going to start doing today.
Yeah. So storms are going to come, you guys. They're going to come. And when they do, together you can say, we can handle it. We can handle it together. We can handle it being beside one another. We can handle it no matter what comes our way. And we believe in you guys because you're putting the work and have put in the work to build your foundation, to build your house. So when these times do come, you're going to be ready for them. We love you guys. Have a fantastic week. Pick up a resource. Pick up a resource this week that can help you build that foundation. So when it does come, it may be this week, this may be the week where you guys start the intimacy lifestyle. Maybe that you're going to start your 7 days of sex challenge. Maybe you're going to pick up Connect like you did when you first met and start going through those questions together on a date night or once a week. Whatever it may be, we believe in you, and we are still this year going the next level. Love you guys. Have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you next week.